Okay, I'm hoping this will work. Can't see my face, so that's not a problem. We can work without the face. Hey Lou, how are you doing? Okay? I'm gonna just get rid of these. Focusing on grade 4 and 5 today. The question that could come up, simultaneous equations. Because on paper 1 and 2, that hasn't turned up yet on edXL. That's if you're doing edXL. Now, if you ask me about AQA, to be honest, I've not seen an AQA paper yet, because in my school we do a edXL. So I can only talk about edXL. Simultaneous equation is one of them. And then you have angles in parallel lines and angles in polygons. I think these are the two questions that most likely to come up. Negative indices. Now these are all of my predictions, and I'm not going to say just rely on those. Now if you're revising, I would say the best way to revise is to look at your weakest topics. Now, for example, problem solving question, a lot of people find them difficult, and a good way to start would be to do the problem solving questions. Graph question has already come up, so I wouldn't worry too much about graphs, but quadratic graphs could possibly come up in foundation. And also estimating the mean. There's a question on the screen now. Estimating the mean, that could come up as well, because these are calculator topics, and it hasn't come up on the foundation 1 and 2 on an Excel paper. No problem. Happy to help here. I know Owen Powell. He's challenging me to get. Well, he said he's gonna get 1,000 first. So let's see. I'm on a mission now. Been a great student to me last year. One of my favorite students. Don't tell him that though. He might make a video out of it. He's actually the reason I'm going to YouTube, because I've never thought about getting into YouTube videoing, but he showed me, well, not showed me, but inspired me to do videos on YouTube. And now a lot of people ask me to make videos all the time. Got too little at home, so I find it quite difficult. Great Boundaries 2019. Now, grade boundaries for 2019, we don't know that yet. They get decided after the exam happens, and when the exam boards have marked the paper. So maybe before the results, they will release the grade boundaries. And so it wouldn't be well, I wouldn't know. So if you want to get a rough idea about the grade boundaries, I would suggest you have a look at the grade boundaries from last year. So that will give you a rough idea, because it shouldn't be much different to last year. Now, depending on how everyone does in the exam, the grade band will depend on that. Now, if the exam board think, oh, everyone did really, really well, then what they tend to do is might put up the grade boundaries slightly. And if they think the whole country, the exam board, say for example, at Excel students, they didn't do very well, so they tend to put the grade boundary slightly lower. Now, it's completely up to the exam board. So I don't want to make any comments that could actually, well, I don't want to give you the wrong information. So we just have to wait for the 2019 grade boundaries. GCSE 1964. Wow, that was before I was born. She learnt from the best teacher back then. Yes, density, mass and volume in a foundation, yeah. Expect one of those questions in foundation and higher, so cross. It's higher as well, so one of those questions could possibly. Sorry, I'm just getting my board ready. I wasn't expecting to come on live because some of my students have requested this. So I'll probably do just last minute. Now, these questions I'm going to go through, these have been provided by Pearson at Excel. I'm not sure if you've done them in your school. These are those exam board questions. Ooh, look who's here. Owen Powell. Guys, by the way, Owen does some really good videos. So can I just say a quick shout out to Owen? If he can have some time. I know it's Owen, yeah, maybe, yeah. So if you get some time, check out his videos. If you want to subscribe, it's up to you, completely up to you. I'm not going to say subscribe because I'm on a mission to get the 1,000 subscribers first. But no, genuinely, he does some great videos. So yeah. Now let's get some questions done. Now this is how we're going to do it. I'll let you have a go at some questions. Now, I'm not going to go through the really, really easy questions. Now, one question that could possibly come up is this one here, substitution with a square in it. I know a lot of you asking me some questions. If I can't answer them, I'm sorry, but I'm trying to answer as many as I can. So have a go at this question that you can see now. I'll zoom in a little bit more. And what I'll do is I'll go through in a minute. And while you're doing this question, I'll try to answer people's question. So how can I get a grade 4 from this paper? Now, grade is obviously overall, calculated overall from the total of 3 papers. So what you have to do is, depending on how your paper 1 and 2 went, actually. Now, paper 1, I think it went really well. Most students found it pretty easy. Paper 2, not bad, still was okay. So I'm a bit worried about paper 3, actually. I don't want to scare you about anything, but paper 3, I think there will be a bit of a more AO3 questions on there. And paper 3 tends to be a bit more difficult. Now, it completely depends, actually. I can't actually tell what the paper is going to be like. But looking at paper 1 and 2, I think, I got a feeling it won't be as difficult because they want people to pass and they want people to get those grade 4 and 5 so that they can go to college and they go to university. Now, they're not there to stop you. They're trying to help you. Okay. Well, then again, they can't just give you the marks for free. So you have to earn it. So if you try a little harder, work a little harder, Maybe this advice is a bit too late for some people now, but if you do, then it's easy to pass. Yeah. Yes. TNS, aim for the moon, land in the star, or is it the way around? Aim for the star, land in the moon. I always say the opposite way. Okay, let's have a go at this question. Now, when you get a question like this, always, it's usually worth 2 marks. And type in your calculation. Say, for example, 2g squares and 3h. So I'm going to type in the calculation. I'm going to substitute the letters. So 2 times minus g is minus 2. 2 times minus 2 squared. Or plus 3 times 4. Now, this is worth 1 mark. Okay, so this calculation here is worth 1 mark. And for the next bit, if you're not very confident with negatives, I would say in your calculator, just type in exactly how the calculation appears. And in that way, you wouldn't make any mistakes. So 2 times and then brackets minus 2 brackets squared and then plus 3 times 4. And that will give you the answer. Does anyone know if this answer is correct or wrong? Okay, now can someone tell me why is this wrong? What mistake have I made on this question? Okay, now it could be possibly because of the brackets. Now, some of you are saying the answer is 4. Now, what if I get rid of the brackets? So let's type this in your calculator again. So 2 times minus 2 squared plus 3 times 4. Now that gives us 4. Now, you have to be very careful here. Because it's a g squared, it's going to be the whole of g squared. So minus 2 squared. So minus 2 times by minus 2 is 4. And 4 times 2 is 8. So that bit will give us 8. And then 3 times 4 is 12. So that gives us 20. Okay, because we're typing in g squared. So if you times g by g itself, that gives us g squared. And what's g worth? G is worth minus 2 times by minus 2. That gives us minus 2 times by minus 2 gives us positive 4. Because when we multiply two negatives together, that gives us plus 4. So therefore, the answer is going to be 20. So put those brackets in the calculator and that will give you the right answer. Now, this question came up in your paper too, so I'm going to avoid that one. Okay, estimating the mean, and that's another question. I've got a great good feeling that this is going to come up. So have a go at this question. I'm hoping that you have your calculator ready. Now, if you're not sure where to start with this question, I'm just going to give you sort of a few hints because I don't want to go through the answer straight away, otherwise it's not effective. Best way to advise is you have a go at it first and then see whether you got it right or wrong. If you got it wrong, then check where you got it wrong. So to start off with, we've got class intervals. Now, when you get estimating mean, you can have 2 types of questions. You can have class intervals or you could have just straight numbers. Now, if you have class intervals, what do we need to do first? Ask yourself that question. Now, if you have class interval, we always need to find the midpoint. Exactly. Uzma, well done. Yes, well done. You know what? I'm gonna find it difficult to read these YouTube names, so it's probably just spell it out. The DMLG Ben. Yes, Zaka. Yeah, well done. Yeah. So find the midpoint first, and then multiply the midpoint by the frequency, and then add the total of frequency and add the total of the new column that you're going to make. So I'm gonna make the columns here. So that will be midpoint, and that will be midpoint times by frequency. So midpoint of 150 and 250. Now we can clearly see that's going to be 200. Now if it's a slightly odd number or anything like that, always type in your calculator. Now how do you find the midpoint of two numbers? Always type in, add the two class intervals and divided by 2, and that will give you the midpoint. Okay, just to show you the process, I know this is quite straightforward numbers, we don't need to do that. So that would be 200, and that will be 300. 350 to 450 is 400. And then 450 to 550 is 500. 550 to 650 is 600. Now we found the midpoints. Now do midpoint times frequency. So 200 times 1 is 200. 11 times 300 is 3,300. Now if you're not sure, use a calculator. That's what it's here for. Okay, sometimes students think, oh, I can do this in my head, and they make these silly mistakes. So if you're not sure, never ever, because that could cost you a mark, or maybe more than a mark. And you come out with your exam, you ask your friend, what did you get for that? Or your friend got a totally different answer, and you think, oh, what have I done wrong? I think I've done everything right. Why did I not get this answer? And then you think about it all day and night till your results day. 3 times 600 is 1,800. And then all we have to do is add the total frequency. So 11 add 1 is 12, add 5 is 17, 20. Total frequency is 20. And the total of this column, midpoint times by frequency, if you're not sure, use one of these machines. One of the greatest inventions. $1,800. Sorry if I'm not seeing your comments because I'm very busy doing my revision. Sometimes I feel like I'm doing the exams in my class. And all you have to do is total 7,300 divided by 20. Divided by 20. I had already the 7,300 in my calculator, so all I had to do is divide by 20. That will save you some time. So the answer is 365 pounds. So 365 pounds. Always write your answer in the answer section. Sometimes what I find is students do a bit of working there, bit of working there, bit of working there, bit of working there, and the answer is completely in different place. So the examiner has to look all around for the answers, and that's very bad, because what if the examiner's been having a bad day and looks at your paper at that moment and then thinks, you know what, this person is making me go crazy. Okay, never know who's marking your answer, so be careful with that. Okay, so are we okay with that? So that's 365 pounds. So let's have a look what question we have next. Now, 56 is a product of prime factors. Now, this type of question hasn't come up yet again, and I've got it on my list of, I made a video with the topics that you need to revise about a few days ago. So have a go at this question. Now, if this question is worth 3 marks, I would suggest you do the factor tree. Okay, now my calculator tricks video, if you had a look at it, you can do this very easily in a calculator. But then again, if it's worth 3 marks, you'll possibly get the marks for using a calculator. Okay, so do the factor tree. I'll give you a moment to do that. I'm hoping that you have some pen and paper there as well. Not just working in your head. Sometimes when I ask students, why are you not doing your work? And students be like, oh, I'm doing it in my head. I'm on Queenie, I'm on Edexcel. I'll let you have a go at this question and try to answer some of the people's questions. Will this work for Edexcel? Yes, this is Edexcel based. These questions are being released by Edexcel Pearson. I'm not sure if you come across these in your school, and these were called the revision boards. I think a few weeks ago Edexcel released those. Quite useful actually. And a lot of the questions from paper 1 and 2, I made a full video on those earlier on, I think on 2 of the boards, on non-calculator ones. Okay, let's quickly have a go at this question. So 56 as a product of prime factors. Now, 56 is a pretty straightforward number. What if they give you something like 385? I don't know the 385 times tables. So one good way to do the factor tree is, if you've got 385, I know 5 goes into that number. So 385 divided by 5, and you can find the number that goes into it. Okay, so 5 times 77. Okay, that's just an example. Say, for example, you don't know your 56 times table or which number goes into 56. So type in 56. I know it's an even number, so you'll divide it by 2, first of all. So 2 times 28 gives me 56. So that's the first part, John. Always circle the prime numbers. If you're not sure about your prime numbers, write them out. Okay, so I'll write a list of prime numbers here. So you go, 1 is not a prime number, by the way. 2, 3, 5, 7, 11, and 13. And up to here is fine, I think. Then 28, I know 4 times 7 is 28. 7 is a prime number, and then 2 times 2, and they both are prime numbers. All you have to do is write it as a product. So it'll be 2 times 2 times 2 times by 7. So it'll be 2 cubed times by 7. If you ask you to give it as a power, then write down 2 cubed times by 7. Now to check your answer on the calculator, press shift. Sorry, not shift. Type in 56 and then press equal. Press shift and then press the fact button here. I think it's the third one down on the second row from the left, and press the fact button, and that will give you the answer. And that's it. And you can see we got the right answer. But if you're 3 marks, always do the factor tree. Don't just rely on the calculator answer, because you might lose mark. Factorize fully 28y squared minus 21y. Now, with this type of factorization, different people do it differently. So we have a quadratic and another term. That doesn't mean it's double bracket. If we have 3 terms and a quadratic, that means we have to have double brackets. A lot of students make mistakes just by not identifying the question properly. Okay, and we got Bo, hello, 7y brackets 4y minus 3. Yes, I'll do this question very quickly because I think a lot of you are confident with this one. Find the highest common factor of 28 and 21. So 27 goes into both. Find 7 is a factor. Always make sure it's factorized fully. It says fully. So 7 goes into it. And then y squared and y, we have y common. Put the brackets on. 28 divided by 7 is 4, and y squared divided by y is just y. And minus 21 divided by 7 is minus 3, and y divided by y is just 1. So 7y brackets 4y minus 3 is the answer. Now, if you got a few friends who are actually taking the foundation GCSE Excel exam, I would suggest maybe share with them as well, because also give them some help as well if they need it. Okay, write down the number of vertices of this 3D shape. So we can see it's a 3D shape, it's a cuboid. All you have to do is count the vertices. Now this type of question don't need to come up in an exam. So vertices are the corners. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. If you're not sure, I'd mark them, get a highlighter, identify them and count them. If you mark them, then you can easily actually see how many you identified, and if you miss out any, and that'll be clear to you. So it'll be 8 vertices. And also on this type of question, you could get how many edges. So the edges are these lines. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So 12 faces, sorry, 12 edges. And faces, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 faces, 6 faces. Yep, well done. Now, next question, we can see is ordering decimal fractions. I think ordering fractions came up in your exam. Let's quickly have a go at the probability. The probability that a new fridge has a fault is 0.35. What is the probability that a new fridge does not have a fault? So we know probability adds up to 1. All we have to do is 1 take away 0.35. And that's, if it's worth 2 marks, this will be your 1 mark. And all you have to do is 1 take away 0.35. Now we know it's 0.65, but if you're not sure, use this lovely machine, 1 take away 0.35, and press equal and press the SD button to change to decimal, and that's 0.65. Always double check your answer, because sometimes we think we're really confident. And again, I make mistakes, guys, and I've been teaching maths for years. So at the end of the day, we're humans, we're bound to make mistakes, but always make sure you get them right, because these are the questions that are going to make a difference in your grades. If you make these mistakes, then with the AO3 problem solving questions, it's going to be very difficult to make up those marks. No, some of you asking me if it's for higher. No, it's for foundation. Now, let me quickly go through this question. With this question, if it comes up, use a calculator, pretty straightforward. So all you have to do is type in 160 in your calculator, times it by 35 and shift, and you got the percentage button there, and the answer button you can see in yellow is the last button at the bottom row, and that will press equal, and that is how you can find percentage very easily. And the answer is 56 for this one. Okay, now, like I said before, simultaneous equation, there is a good chance of this question coming up. So I'm going to take my time for this one. So I'm going to give you a few minutes to have a go at this one. Usually it's worth about 3 to 4 marks, but I'll give you about three minutes. So have a go at this, and I'll see if anyone has any questions. I'll try to answer those. Yes, make x the same. Okay, so what you have to do is, by the looks of it, we can just multiply one of the equations and make either x or y the same. You don't have to multiply both by the opposite number. Screen out of focus. Can you see it now? Formulas, no, sorry, Jessica, won't be doing higher today because there's not much time. It's already 9 o'clock, and I think you guys do need to go to sleep very soon. I'll probably spend another half an hour here doing foundation. So I'm focusing on grade 4 and 5. But I would suggest go to Corbett Maths or Maths Genie. They have lots of resources available there. Can you read out equations, please? Okay, what I'll do is I'll get the equations. I've made a video on equations last year, I think, but what I'll do is at the end of this video, I'll try to go through all the equations and I give you an idea, talk about what type of question could possibly be related to those equations. I'll give you another minute to finish this question off. What do you think of these papers? I think they were good papers. Paper 1 was really good, I think. Paper 2, slightly difficult. Not as difficult as I thought it would be. Topic checklist. I made a video on that just a few days ago. Check that one out as well. Okay, so let's go through this question here. So now, when you get a simultaneous equation, always check whether these terms, can I get all the terms same by multiplying just one equation? And I can see that we can do that. Either multiply, let's name them equation 1, and let's name the second one equation 2, so we can identify which is which. Now, if I multiply equation 1, x term by 5, I can make the x term same. Or what I could do is, if I multiply the second equation by 3, I can make the y term the same. So it's up to you which one you want to do. Either way is fine. I'll go for the second equation and I'll multiply everything by 3. The reason being is I can easily just subtract and I'll get rid of the negatives and that will leave it positive. So I don't need to mess about with negatives. Okay, so I'm just trying to make it a bit more easier. So times the second equation by 2. But first of all, I write the first equation on the top. X plus 3y equals 12. And if I multiply, 3 times 5 is 15x. Minus 3 times y is minus 3y. And 3 times 4 is 12. Okay. Now, how do we know whether to add or subtract? Because the signs are different here, we need to add. Because our aim is to get rid of the term y terms, so we're going to add. So 12 add 12 is 24. And then 3y take away 3y cancel out. And x plus 15x is 16x. Divide both sides by 16. Just solving the equation now. And then that will give us 16x divided by 16 is just x. And 24 divided by 16. You can either leave it as a fraction or you can change it into a decimal. Now, if you're not sure how to simplify a fraction, I would say simply use your calculator, save your time. So 24, use the fraction button, divided by 16, and press the equal button, and that will actually simplify the fraction for you. So the answer is x equals 3 over 2. Or change into decimal, which is 1.5. Now, I don't mind changing into decimal because it's a calculator paper. It'd be easier to substitute a decimal number into your equation. Now, let's substitute our x values into one of the equations. I would substitute into the first one because there are no negatives involved. Now, you must be thinking I've got probably some sort of formula with negatives. Now, if you have negatives, people tend to make more mistakes. So I'll try to avoid the negatives. So substituting into the first equation, x plus 3y equals 12. So x is 1.5 plus 3 times y which we don't know yet, which we're trying to find, equals 12. So take away 1.5 from both sides. I do the balancing method. You might have a different method to do. That's fine. Minus 1.5 minus 1.5 cancel out, and 3y is equal to 12 take away 1.5. If you're not sure, use a calculator. 12 take away 1.5 is equal to 10.5. So that will give us 10.5. And divide by 3 both sides, and y is equal to 10.5 is already in the calculator. Just divide by 3, and then you got your answer. That gives us an answer of 7/2 or 3.5. And that's it. That's our answer. So x is equal to 1.5. Make sure you write your answer in the answer section. And y is equal to 3.5. I thought iteration was higher only. Yes, iteration is higher only. You can't believe how many people actually revised the wrong topics for foundation and higher. Just feel sorry for them. But anyway, 504 is the product of its power of prime factors. Now, I'm not going to do working for this one. I'm just going to do this on the... Is it working? Oh, yes, it is back on. Bit scared there. Yes, it does that. Lots of screen on there. Okay, anyway, do you know how to answer this question? Midpoint of AB. Find the coordinates of the midpoint of AB. Okay, I'll quickly go through it for those who are not quite sure about it. First of all, because it's a diagonal line, what some people would do is they'll draw a line here and then try to figure out, is it here, is it here, or is it here? Now, let's not do that. Let's do it the right way so that we're sure how to do it. Find the coordinates of A. So coordinates of A is across first, so -2 across and 1, 2, 3 up. So coordinate A is -2 and 3 up. And then B is 1, 2, 3, 4 across and 1, 2, 3, 5. So B is 4 across and 5 up. Now all you have to do is add the x coordinates together. So these are all your x coordinates and these are your y coordinates. So add the x coordinates together. I'll use a different colored pen maybe this time. And then so -2 plus 4 divided by 2, and then next coordinate is going to be 3 add 5 divided by 2. The -2 plus 4 is just 2 divided by 2, and 3 add 5 is 8 divided by 2. So 2 divided by 2 is 1, and 8 divided by 2 is 4. So the coordinate is, or midpoint of AB is 1, 4. Let me see my list. Whether we need to do this question. Did we have a dividing into ratio question in our exam? Does anyone know from top of their head? Okay, I'll thank you very much for that, Macy and Ryder. Quite a few, you know. Okay, there's more yes, so I'll leave that. Okay, a problem-solving type of question. The total surface area of a cube is 294 centimeters squared. Work out the volume of the cube. How are you going to answer this question? I'll give you a few minutes to answer. How do you do money exchange in maths? Do you know what? At the end, I'll see if I can find a money exchange question. I've got a video on one of my videos has money exchange questions, but I'll try to go through it as well. Yeah. Okay. Ben, 294 divided by 6. And can you tell us why did you divide it by 6? The answer is right. Well done. Yes. So that people will know why, because always good to know the reason. So when you get a question like this. Yes, it is a cube. Yes, yeah. So a cube has an area of 294 centimeters squared, which is total surface area. And because a cube, all the faces have the same area, so equally distributed. So what we can do is we can say 294 divided by 6 faces equally, and that will give you answer of 49. Use a calculator if you're not sure. And then because it's a cube, let's sketch a cube quickly. So we found the area of one face is 49. So every face is worth 49. So what we can do is to find the length and width, because it's a cube, we know that the numbers are same, the length and width are the same. So we know 7 times 7 gives us 49. Or what you can do is, some people said they can square root 49, which is 7. Okay, so work out the volume of the cube now. We know the length and width. Because it's a cube, length, width, and the height are all the same. So all you have to do now is, so we know volume is equal to length times width times by height. So all we have to do is 7 times 7 times by 7. And in the calculator, times 7 times by 7 times by 7, 343 centimeters cubed. Because the measurements are given in the area was given in centimeters square, so volume is going to be centimeters cubed. So that's a good question. Yes, well done, Ben. And Zara, yes, it is 343 centimeters cubed. Ben's on a roll today. What is loci? Loci is something when you have an equal distance around a point. For example, a circle can be a loci. I'll quickly try to demonstrate here. For example, a circle, and if a question says, draw a locus of 3 centimeters around the point, so you can see the point on the top right corner. I'll draw a slightly bigger point. All you have to do is you get your compass, measure, say, did I say 3 centimeters? Yes. Measure 3 centimeters on your compass. Make sure your pencil and the sharp edge of your compass is the same length. Put your sharp edge here and draw a circle around that point. So that distance, the radius should be 3 centimeters. And label it 3 centimeters with the radius. And that's the loci. You can also have a line. They might ask you to draw the locus of around this point of 3 centimeters or 2 centimeters. Use a ruler to measure 2 centimeters from there and 2 centimeters from there. Now on this bit, draw again, measure 2 centimeters from your compass and draw an arc which is 2 centimeters away and 2 centimeters away, and just join this line up. Now it's okay to leave these construction lines. Do not get rid of those, because the examiner needs to see that you have constructed it. Draw the locus. Okay, let's have a go at this one. I know some easy standard form questions came up, but calculations with standard form could possibly come up, or in a problem solving question, standard form could also come up as well. Okay, so that could involve multiplying and dividing using standard form. So have a go at this question. I'll give you about 2 minutes. Yes, Ben. The first number in standard form always has to be the between 1 and 10. So the prefix has to be between 1 and 10, and has to have a power of, so more than 1 and less than 10. So it cannot be 0.9, cannot be 0.8, has to be 1 or more, and has to be less than 10. So cannot be 10.0, has to be, or 10.1, has to be 9.9, 9.8, so less than 10. Okay, now when you get a question like this, let's see what happens if you type this in your calculator. So we've got a fraction, type in the fraction button, so 0.06 times by 0.003. Press the down arrow button and type in 0.01, and press the equal button, press SD. Okay, now that gives us 0.018. Now because it's a calculator paper, I'm using a calculator. Okay, make use of your calculator, guys. That's why it's fair for. So we have a 0.018. Now all you have to do is change this into a standard form. So standard form, we need to move the decimal 2 places to the right so that the number becomes 1.8. Because we're making a small number into a bigger number, so our power is going to be negative. So we moved it 1 place and 2 places to the right, so power is going to be -2. Okay, so these are simple rules of standard form. If you make a small number to a big number, power is negative. If you big number to a small number, oh, sorry. Oh, yeah, I did miss the 0 on there. So let's quickly go through it again. Good, well spotted there. Always make sure you type in the number of zeros correctly. So 0.06 times by 0.00. So we've got 3 zeros, then a 3. Oh, fraction button. 0.06 times by 0.0003. Down arrow button, and then 0.01. Now press equal button. Ooh, that gives us the standard form answer. Well done, calculator. I'll just write it now. 1.8 times by 10 to the power -3. Okay, so make sure you avoid those little mistakes. Try to be careful. Let's have a go at this one quickly. So I'll do this one very quickly. So when we multiply, we add the powers, and when we divide, we take away the powers. 3 to the power of 7 take away 2 is 5 and divided by 3 cubed. And dividing, so we take away the powers. So with 3 to the power of 5 take away 3 is 2. Work at the value. Now be careful here. He's asking for you the value, not leave it as a power of 3. If it does ask you to leave it as power of 3, this is fine. But if it asks you to work out the value, 3 squared is 9. Make sure you write down the value because that could cost you a mark. Next, again, a similar type of question we did before with the cuboid. So this could come up as well. So how many faces does pyramid have? So we have 1, 2, 3, 4. Because it's a square-based pyramid, we have 4 around it and 1 underneath it. So we've got 5 faces. If it's a triangular-based pyramid, it will be 3 and 1, which is 4. How many edges does the pyramid have? So again, square base, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 edges. Well done, Lou. Next. Okay. This is more like maybe, I'm not sure if this type of question will come up, but minus 2 cubed, just use your calculator. Brackets minus 2, brackets x to the power of 3. Press the right arrow button and then press equal. That gives you minus 8. Okay, you got a calculator. Save some time by using a calculator. Don't try to assume answers. And I'm going to go through. Okay, this question here on the far right. Find the value. So calculator questions. I'm just going to get rid of these answers, guys. So I'm going to go through this one. Okay, so have a go at this one. So type this question in your calculator, and can you let me know what answer you get? While you're doing this, I'll do on the side. So we'll match the answers. So because it's a fraction, I'll start off with the fraction button. Then it's got a square root on the numerator, so type the square root button, and then enter 13.4 minus 1.5. Press the down arrow button, brackets 6.8 plus 0.06, close brackets, and then put in a square. Press the right arrow button, and then press equal. Now, when you get a question like this, always try to enter the figures as it appears on your question, and that way you can avoid any extra calculation or any steps, and you can get your answer in one go. And the answer is 0.073303598081. Try to enter all the digits because it says write down all the figures in your calculator display. Now, this question also asks you, thank you, Stubbs, well done. Lou, yeah, good. Now, what if it asked you to round this answer to 3 significant figures? What would the answer be then? Let's have a look what the responses are. Okay, Ben, 0.07. Who else? Does anyone agree with that or disagree with that? It's not clear. And what time is this ending? I think we've got another, say, 15 to 20 minutes and we'll end. Because I need to wake up early, go to school, and do the morning revision. And also you guys need to sleep. Now, we got 0.0. A lot of people said 0.07. Now, be careful here. We need to round to 3 significant figures. Now, because this number, I'll write it out here, 0.0733303. Okay, I'll leave it up to here. Now, 3 significant figures. When it comes to significant figures, these numbers start with 0, so it doesn't count as significant figures. The numbers have to start between 1 and 9 to be recognized as significant figure. Now, that doesn't mean if the number has, if there's a 0 between 2 digits, say 1 and 5, that 0 will count as a significant figure. Now, because it starts with 0, it doesn't count as significant figures. So 0 not significant, 0 not significant. Then we have 7, yes, it is significant. So we got our first significant figure. 3, yes, significant. We got a second significant figure, and 3, yes, we got our third significant figure. Now draw the line after this third figure, significant figure, and look at the number after the line here. If it's 5 or over, you will add 1. But if it's 4 or less, you leave it as it is. So our answer is going to be 0.0733. And we have rounded to 3 significant figures. So well done, Sayab. It is 0.0733. Next. Now, this is a problem-solving question. I've got this in one of my videos. You can check it out. It's going to take too long. I'm trying to go through the quick questions where you can actually pick the marks very easily. Now, this question hasn't come up in paper 1 or 2. So the line L shown on the grid, find an equation for L. Okay, so I'll give you a hint. To write down an equation of a straight line, you need to write it as y equals mx plus z, where m stands for the gradient and c is the y-intercept. Okay, first of all, we need to find the gradient. Now, first of all, have a look whether the line is going up or down. If it's going downwards, we know that for definite it's going to be a positive gradient. If it's going downwards, it's negative. If it's going upwards, it's positive. So let's find out the gradient first. So we need to find out what m is, which is the gradient on the equation. Pick a point. So let's say we'll pick this point here at -3. And I'm going to go across 1. And I'll go up 1, go up twice, and go up 3 times. Okay, now I went right, and I went up 3 times. So 1 across and 3 up. And we know that to find an equation of a line, we divide the up by across. So we divide the difference in y by the difference in x. So that will be 3 divided by 1, which is 3. So the gradient is 3, and the y-intercept is the easiest part, where you look at where the line crosses the y-axis, which is -6. So c is -6. Now we've got the y-intercept, we've got the gradient. All you have to do now is plot everything in your equation. Y equals, sorry, that's my little one. It's not taking his GCSE yet, but yeah, he's here for revision. So y equals, gradient is 3x, and the y-intercept is -6, 3x minus 6. So y equals 3x minus 6. Now, if you get a question where you cannot find the gradient, if you're not sure about the gradient, do this process and do not leave the y-intercept out, because that's worth 1 mark. Okay, so if you get a question like this, you're not sure, at least write down the y-intercept. So that will get you 1 mark after the 3 marks. So that was that. Okay, angles with algebra, forming and solving. Okay, have a look at this question while I get rid of my little one. Because he's trying to touch my screen. He wouldn't teach you very much. So have a go at this question, form this equation and solve it. I'll be back in 2 minutes. Yes, I'll go through factorizing quadratics, yeah. Okay guys, I'm back now. Let's quickly finish this question. So let's form the equation first. We've got an angle and it's got algebra involved with it. So we got to find the missing x. And we can see this is 90 degrees. And it's an angle around a point. And we know angle around a point adds up to 360 degrees. So we can say 3x plus 2x plus 90 is equal to 360 degrees. Simplify it. So 3x plus 2x, 5x plus 90 is equal to 360. Minus 90 from both sides. To solve an equation now. 5x is equal to, if you're not sure, use a calculator. Never assume 360 take away 90. Calculator's playing up. $70 divided by 5 both sides. $54. X is 54. Now on this question they could also ask find the value of the angles. So you just have to substitute 54 into those expression, 3 times 54 and 2 times 54, and that will give you the angle sizes. Okay, now median from a frequency table. Again, that could be a possible question in your paper 3. Oh, by the way, if you think this video is helping by any way or any of my videos helped you, over the last few days or weeks. Please do not forget to let me know, or just hit that like button so I can assess my videos. If you have any recommendation, any changes to make in my videos, please do let me know. I'm open to ideas. And if you're doing A levels next year, I'm thinking of starting, obviously it's just foundation, but if you're doing it by any chance, then thinking of starting A level maths as well. My videos challenge me that I cannot get 1,000 subscribers before him, but my aim is to get 1,000 subscribers before the GCSE exams finish, so I can get there. Anyway, so the table shows some information about the dress sizes of 25 women, and these are the dress sizes and number of women. Find the median dress size. So when you get a question like this, we need to find the middle value. Now, one way to do it is when we find median, we put in order and then we cross that to n numbers and then find the middle one. And that's our median. Because we don't have numbers written down, it's in a table. So we're going to find the middle women. So we've got 25 women. All we have to do is, because it's an odd number, we're going to add 1 to 25 plus 1, which is 26, and divide 26 by 2. That gives us 13. So the 13th woman has the median dress size. Now let's go to the frequency. This is our frequency, the number of women. Now we're going to count from the start and keep adding the numbers until we find the 13th woman. So we can see 2 add 9 is 11, and 11 add 8 is 19. So the median woman, the 13th woman, lies here, who has a dress size of 12. So the median dress size is 12. Yes, look, it is 12. Expand and simplify. Let's quickly go through this one. 5 times p is 5p. I'm going to do expanding factor, double brackets, and expanding. Sorry, my battery is going low. Have you got 1 minute? Let me just. These are easy questions. Have a go at this one. These two questions. Was there a highest common factor question in the exam? I doubt it. It wasn't. So either either writing number as a product of prime factors or highest common factor could possibly come up. So have a go at these two questions. I'll get my charger. Yes, I always use the grid so that we don't make mistakes. Yes. Try hard, yes, of course. I'm going to use a grid. In that way, we don't make any mistakes. Okay, now on this question, it's a substitution question. Because you got a pi in there, don't get alarmed by it. So all you have to do is substitute the values in first. So that would be worth 1 mark. So do not type, you can type in your calculator, obviously that's going to give you the answer. But because it could be worth 3 or 2 marks, you need to write down the values inside. So b squared, so it'd be 10 squared minus a squared, which is 8 squared. And that's worth 1 mark. Just write out the expression by using the substituted values. Now type in your calculator. I'm hoping you know where your pi button is, or shift, and times 10 to the power x. You've got pi in yellow, pi, and you've got a square in there, brackets, 10 squared, take away 8 squared, close brackets, and press the equal button, and that gives us 355.305. 305. We leave it up to here and then round it to 3 significant figures. So write it out first and then round it to 3 significant figures. Now, like I said before, a number that starts between 1 and 9, other than 0, it counts as a significant figure. So we got 1 significant, 2 significant, 3 significant figures. Look at the number after the third significant figure. If it's 5 or over, we need to add 1 to the 5 here. If not, leave it as it is. So our answer is going to be 355. Find the highest common factor of 168 and 180. Now, I'm going to use the calculator for this one. So 168, because it might be worth just 2 marks or 3 marks maximum, or they might give this sort of question in a problem solving question. So 168, press equal, shift and the fact button, and that gives you the product of prime factors. So 2 cubed times by 3 times 7. So 168 can be written as 2 cubed times by 3 times by 7. Next number is 180. So clear the calculator, type in 180, press equal, and then shift and the fact button. So 2 squared times by 3 squared times by 5. So 180 can be written as 2 squared times by 3 squared times by 5. And that's it. Now find the highest common factor. So the highest common factor is look at the common numbers. So you've got a 2 squared there, and we have 2 cubed there, so we have 2 squared common. Then we have 3 squared here and 3 here, so that means we have one lot of 3 in common. And that's it, we don't have anything else common. So all you have to do is 2 squared is 4 times 3 is 12. Now if this question asks you to find the lowest common multiple, then what we have to do is times 12, all the common numbers, and then anything that is left over. Okay, so over here we already had 12, and times by, we had a 2 left over here because we took 2 squared out here. So we have 2 left over here. We had a 3 left over here. So times by 3, and we have a 5 and a 7 left over. And if you just type all that in your calculator, and that will give you the lowest common multiple. Yes, Ben, it is 12, yes. You might get one of these questions, straightforward ones. A01 question at the start of the paper, 7 over 16 as a decimal. Just write down 7 divided by 16. Press equal and press the SD button, 0.4375. Put a pair of brackets in the statement below to make this statement true. Where would you put the brackets? King Ariane, there's a video made on topics. Check out my channel. I made it a few days ago. So I talked about all the different topics, including higher and foundation. Okay, I split them in different categories so that it's easy for you to revise. Yes, Ben, you're correct. So if you want to have a look at this answer here, you can look at Ben's answer. So I'm not going to waste too much time answering this question. Let's have a go at this angle question because I don't think there's many angle question that came up in your paper 1 and 2. So have a go at this one. Actually, I'll just quickly go through it because we don't have much time. Let's say we finish at 10. Shaba, we're going to finish at 10 p.m. So when you get a question like this, always look out for these little signs here. So these mean these two sides are equal. So therefore we have an isosceles triangle. So first of all, what we need to do is work out what this angle is because we've got a straight line and angles in a straight line are up to 180. So to find this angle here, we need to take 180, take away 110, which is 70 degrees. So this is 70 degrees. Now always annotate on the angle, on the shape that you've been given on your exam paper so you can see where you are actually going with this question. Okay, so always good to annotate and write the answers on the diagram and it helps you see what do you need to find next. So we found 70. Because it's an isosceles triangle, the two base angles are same. So it says give reasons for each stage of your answer working. So make sure you write down reasons down. So if this is 70, this is 70 because an isosceles triangle has two equal base angles. And it's asking us to show that BDC is 40 degrees. It's asking us to show this is 40 degrees. So we can say angles in a triangle are up to 180 degrees. So if we take away 180 minus those two 70, so it's minus 70, minus 70, and that will give us an answer of 180 take away 140, which is 40 degrees. So we can say BDC is 40 degrees. And all those reasons, can you make sure you write down using the keywords? Don't just write down, I had 180, I took away 110, then I had 180 again and took away 140. That's not your reason. The reasons are angles on a straight line are up to 180 degrees. So you need to use straight line, those keywords. Isosceles triangle has two equal base angles. Angles in a triangle are up to 180 degrees. So these are your reasons. Yes, remember, always read the question. Thank you. Solving inequalities. Now we have unknown on both sides. So we're going to subtract the smaller x first, so minus x on both sides. So we have 2x plus 5 greater or equal to 17, and then take away 5 from both sides. That will give us 2x greater or equal to 12, and then divided by 2 both sides, so be x is greater or equal to 6. Also, can you have a look at drawing inequalities on number lines and also writing values of number lines as well, please? Because I have a feeling that type of question could possibly come up at the start of the paper. AO3 question, again, I'm not going to go through it because it's going to take too long. We don't have much time. Just going to try to go through as many questions as possible. Now, someone asked me to go through. Okay, this is a good question. Okay, I'll give you a couple of minutes to have a go at this one. Yes, Taj Mohammed, yeah, just put the inequalities instead of equal sign. It's just like solving equation, the inequality that we just solved. Ben, okay. If you're not sure, when you get a question like this, if you're not sure whether to use Pythagoras or trig, always look at the question and what's involved here. Now, it is a right angle triangle, so it's either going to be trig or Pythagoras. Now, is there an angle involved other than the right angle? If it's not, it's Pythagoras. If it is, then trig. So clearly we can see there's no other angle involved other than the right angle. Therefore, we're going to use possibly Pythagoras. I'll give you a few minutes to have a go at this one. Now, because Taj Mohammed, because it's a foundation paper, half AB sine theta, that formula, sine theta, that formula won't be applicable here because it's foundation. If it was a higher paper, there was a possibility or a good chance of having that formula involved in there. Yes, you need to use the formula half AB, not half AB, sorry, half time base times height. Now, how do we know we need to use the area formula and not Pythagoras? Because in the question it has area involved and the area is given. We have a base, we have a height of a triangle. If you have difficulty seeing upside down, turn the triangle around. So we know the formula is base times by height divided by 2. And we know that the area is equal to 162. So the base is 3x, times that by the height, which is 3x, divided by 2 and equals to 162. Okay. Now all we have to do is simplify. Now because it's an equation and we've got a fraction on the left hand side, let's simplify the fraction first. So times by 2 both sides. So times this side by 2, times this side by 2. So that'll give us, so let's do the top bit first. So 3x times by 3x is 9x squared. And then 162 times by 2 is 324. Now, because it's 9x squared is 324, we're going to divide by 9 both sides. So 324 divided by 9 is 36. So x squared is 36. So we can clearly see x squared is 36. So we need to square root both sides. So square root both sides. So the x is going to be 6. Now, when you square root a number, we get two answers. We get a plus or a minus 6. Now, because it's asking us to find the value of x, we're going to, and it's involved a base and height of a triangle, we cannot have a negative. Okay, so we've got plus and minus 6. So we're just going to go for a positive 6 because a length, width, height, they cannot be negative. So we're going to go for x equals 6. And a good way to check your answer is, because x is 6, so if you substitute x is 6 into 3x, that gives us 3 times 6 is 18. And 18 base times base height, so 18 times by 18 gives us 324, and divided by 2, and that gives us 162, and it works, and therefore our answer is right. So these little checks in your question, in your exam, could actually save you marks. So if you're not sure you've got the answer right or wrong, do these quick checks, substitute the value in, and then see if it gives you the area. Now there was a transformation question in your paper 1. So I'm just going to avoid that one. End term. Was there an end term question in the exam? Okay, Luke, how do you know 9x squared is 324? Okay, let me just quickly go back to this question. Luke, just to answer your question, because we have base times height, so what we did is base is 3x and height is 3x, so 3x times by 3x is 9x squared. And this 2, we times it by 2 by both sides because we got this 2 from the formula, base times height divided by 2, area of triangle. And how do we know we need to use area of triangle? Because in our question, it gives you a hint, the area of the triangle is 162. And that's the reason I use that formula. And that gives us 9x squared equals 324. And then divide by 9 both sides. That gives us x squared is 36. And then x is equal to 6 because we have to square root both sides. I hope this answers the question. No worries, Luke. End term was on the paper. Yes, the more yes, let's avoid that one. We've already done this one. We already had a question like this in your paper. A lot of people said they used my calculator hack for this one, and some people were really chuffed about that. And that doesn't mean they might not give you a quadratic one. So I'm going to quickly show you how to get the table of values because I'm pretty sure you know how to plot the values. So quickly show you this. Now, it works with the Casio calculators, any Casio calculators. Just double check whether it works for the other type of calculators. Okay, I'm going to do this now because there wasn't a quadratic one in your paper 1 and 2. That's the reason I'm doing it because I don't want to waste too much time doing this type of question. So go to menu and go to the table mode, which is number 3. Now, if you've got the older version of calculator, it's similar. It will come with the list table. On this one, it's quite a new version of calculator. And so press the number 3 to choose the table value. Okay, now type in the equation x squared minus 5x plus 3. Okay, so what we're going to do is to enter x, we're going to press alpha button on the top and press the right bracket. So can you see on the right, you got x on there. So one of the brackets, you got x on top in red or pink, x, and then we have squared. So x squared, then we have minus, then we have 5, then we have alpha, then x again, and then we have plus 3. Okay, the equation is entered in the calculator now. And then press equal, and that will give you g of x. Now, we don't need this. This shows only on the new version of the calculator. We don't need this. So press equal again. Now, this will ask you to start the start value. So look at your table. It says -1 over here. So our start value is going to be -1. Enter it and press equal. End value is 5, so we've got 5 there. So enter 5 and then press equal. And the steps is what are the numbers going up in? So we've got -1, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So they're going up in ones. Now, if it does go up in, if you've got a decimal 0.5, 1.5 there, make sure you enter go up in steps 0.5. Because it's going up in ones, I enter 1 there and press equal. And then press equal again, and you can see we have a table of value there. All you have to do is looking at these table values on f of x, f bracket x, you have to enter these numbers into your table, and that's your answer. So we have -1 is 9, and then we have 0 is 3, and you can see 0, 3 is already given in your table of values. So we know this is correct. So 1 is -1, that's correct as well. 2 is -3, so 2 is -3. Then we have 3 is -3, and then press the down arrow button to get the next value. So 4 is -1, so 4 is -1, and that's it. And all you have to do is plot the graph, and that will give you the answer. I can see a lot of negativity in the comments. Don't worry, guys. Trust me, you're going to be okay. A lot of people go into the exam thinking they're going to fail this, and they come up with a decent grade. Now, if you're doing foundation, the grades you're aiming for is 4 and a 5, and just do your best. Don't miss out any questions. Try to show all the working. If you're not sure, use a calculator to go through all these calculation, and I'm pretty sure you're going to be okay. And get some sleep and wake up early. Now, one last question for today, guys, is just 10 o'clock now. So I'm going to do one last question and have a go at this. Well, the answer is already on there, but I'm just going to quickly show you on the calculator how to do this. I think we've done this calculator. Now, if you change your mode, it's very important for you now. If you change the mode in your calculator, make sure you press the mode again and press 1 so that you go back to the actual mode. Okay. At the end of this video, I'll show you how to reset the calculator as well. So if your calculator is being funny and giving you different numbers when you type in, not giving you the right answer, then obviously you need to reset the calculator. So one last question for today. I hope you enjoyed it today and looking forward to your exam tomorrow. If you like this video, please hit the like and don't forget to subscribe and help me win this competition. So we've got the fraction 3.2 times by 10 to the power of, it's only a friendly match with Owen. There's no, I know he said there's beef and lamb, whatever is there. It's no hard feelings, just a friendly match, but I do want to win this. I like competitions. So I'm typing in this calculation, typing in exactly as it appears, 10 to the power of. Now press the x to the power of this little square there, you can see. If you're not sure how to enter -2, press that. That will give me an empty box, then type in -2. And then press the right arrow button so that you come away from the power. And then press down arrow to go to denominator. So 4.3 times by 10 to the power of -4 here. Press the right arrow button and then press equal. And that will come up with the normal answer without this standard form. So all you have to do is write this answer down. So 7.441979.07. You can see the answer at the bottom. I've got it there. And change it into standard form. And we know standard form has to be between 1 and 10. And the answer should be 7.44 times 10 to the power of 6. So count how many places do you go to the right or do you go to the left. Because we're going making a big number into a small number, the power is going to be a positive power. Okay, I hope that helps, and I would suggest these questions I went through. So that's one part of the revision done. Now, if you're confident with these questions, you don't need to go back, hopefully. If you do need to go back to those questions, then please do go back to them and have a look again. But I would suggest have a quick look at my revision list video and also go through the, I made a grade 4 and 5 video with all the topics on one of the videos. I think it's like 1 hour 47 minutes long. But I would suggest quickly have a go at the question, and if you're not sure, then watch the video on my video. Don't waste too much time watching the video, because end of the day you want to make the most of this time. And someone said to share these topics, so quickly I'm going to go through these topics that you need to revise. So I'll split the topics in 4 sections. Again, it's on my video, so I'm still going to go through them very quickly. So in numbers and ratio and proportion, these are the topics I've listed based on the paper 1 and 2 that hasn't come up in your paper 1 and 2. So these are all unseen topics. That doesn't mean that could not come up in your paper 3. Possibly could come up. Fraction, adding and dividing, interest, compound and simple, use of calculator, best buys, direct inverse proportion, compound measures, reverse percentages, exchange rates, and product of prime factors. And these are all 4 and 5, higher and foundation. And foundation only, rounding, multiples, combinations, and fraction decimal percentage. Now, all these topics that I've just said before, the 4 and 5, they're all on the apart from one or two maybe. They're all in that video. So if you need some help with that, so go through that. And then algebra, we have y equals mx plus c. We've done that today, obviously, yeah. Again, these are on the video as well. Rearranging equations, and I've done a few examples on that video. Simultaneous equations, factorize quadratics. Now, I did say I'm going to go through factorize quadratics. I don't want you to go without that one. So what I do is I'm going to teach you guys one simple way. Let's think about a question. So x squared plus 10x plus, let's say we have 16. Now, we have two parts to this, well, three parts to the question. We have x squared and two other terms. So we've got three terms. That means it's a factorizing quadratic. So we're going to have double brackets here. But first of all, you need to identify the product, which is 16. So the product, I'm going to write them here. So product is 16 and the sum is 10. So list all the different ways you can get 16 by multiplying two numbers, including negatives. So 1 times 16 and minus 1 times minus 16, because two negatives times together gives you positive. 2 times 8 and minus 2 times 8, and 4 times 4 and minus 4 times by minus 4. And that's all, I think. Now, look at these numbers, the pair of numbers. Which two added together gives us 10, which is the sum. And we can clearly see 2 add 8, the positive ones, gives us 10. Okay, so that will give us, the answer would be double brackets, x in two brackets. So it will be positive 2, so plus 2, and positive 8 plus 8. Now, let's quickly go through a negative one. What if we had x squared minus 10x plus 16? Okay, now this time we have minus 10x, so let's do the brackets. And because I have the numbers listed here, all the multiples, well, the two numbers that make 16 by multiplying, let's have a look at which, this time the sum is minus 10. So have a look at this list of numbers. Which two numbers added together gives me minus 10? So minus 10, so minus 2 and minus 8 will give us minus 10. So I missed out the minus there. So minus 2 and minus 8 is minus 10. So my answer this time will be x minus 2 and x minus 8. And if you're not sure about the answer, expand the brackets and that will give you the answer. And I also said I'm going to go through expanding brackets using the grid method. So let's expand one of these brackets. I'll choose a negative one. So we have x minus 2 and x minus 8. So let's draw the grid to start off with. So x minus 2 and x minus 8. Sorry, we are doing a foundation here. Otherwise, I would have gone circle theorems. I think I have a video on proving circle theorems. Might not be all of them, so check it out. So we're multiplying these two brackets, x minus 2 and x minus 8. So I've got the terms in my grid. So let's multiply them. So x times x is x squared. X times minus 2 is minus 2x. Now the key here is you need to write down the signs in front of them, because when you write out your answer, you need to know what sign goes in front of your terms. And a lot of people make a mistake on that. It's worth 2 marks, easy 2 marks. Now do next one. Minus 8 times by x is minus 8x. And minus 8 times by minus 2 is plus 16. Because two negatives times together gives us 16. Okay, so that would be x squared minus 2x minus 8x plus 16. Then we have x squared minus 10x plus 16. Okay, and I'll stop here, guys. I know it's getting late. Okay, and that's it, guys. I'm hoping this helped. And if you think it helps in any way, please don't forget to subscribe and hit that like button to let me know. Any feedback, any comments, please do let me know. and all the best with your exam tomorrow. And I'm so glad that I came and did it. I went to another live video and it wasn't working very well for them. So some people just made a comment, and some people just requested me to do this video. And thank you for recommending that. And I feel like, well, I hope I helped. I tried my best. And please do recommend or share my channel with other people or the videos. I know your exam will be over. You don't want to see maths. Some of you don't want to see maths at all next year, but that's not a problem. But please do share these videos with other people. Yes, I'll pray for people. Do special prayers so that you do well. I have a foundation group who are taking their exam this year. Last year I had a top set, and some of you might know Owen, it was in that class as well. And this time I have a foundation. Sometimes I feel like foundation is a lot more difficult than the higher, because higher, the grade bound is smaller. But then again, it's hard to get even little marks in a higher paper. But all the best, guys. Thank you for joining me in your. Oh yeah, sorry, Lou. How you clear a calculator? Sorry, I keep on forgetting things. Been a busy day today at work. Now this works for all the Casio calculators, by the way. So you have to press Shift and then 9. Can you see the reset button on top of 9? It says reset there. Press 9, and it will come with an option: set up data, memory, initialize all. The wording might be slightly different on yours. So we want to initialize all to clear everything. So press 3, and that will come with the option equal yes. Do you agree? Yes. Press the equal, and then press the AC button to reset everything to finalize the initialization. Well, the clearing the calculator, and that's it. That will clear the calculator up, the memory, everything. And also, don't forget your mode needs to be on number 1, which is calculate mode. If you have this calculator, okay. Okay, that's it for today, guys, and good luck. All the best. And I'll make a video after your exams on to check what to do, because I've got a few things planned after the exam, not just maths videos. I've got other videos planned to give you an idea of what to do, how to spend your summer holidays, and things like that. So don't forget to subscribe, and good luck. Take care. Mr. Mahmud, helping you do better in maths. Wait, that's my tagline. I always have to say it. So don't forget to subscribe, and good luck. Take care. Mr. Mahmood, helping you do better in maths. Stay positive. Yes, I only do maths. I love maths. Just to answer your question, Luke, I've gone into last year's grade boundary. This year's grade boundary has not been confirmed yet. They don't get confirmed until the exam are finished and just before the results. And so I wouldn't be able to tell you what the grade boundaries for this year is, but you can get an idea about the grade boundaries from the last year's. So usually shouldn't make much of a difference. Should be around about that mark. So either maybe +10, -10, +5, -5. Okay, so we have for a grade 4 in foundation 136 marks. Now you're probably thinking, oh, higher is only 50 marks. Now, to be honest, getting those 50 marks in higher is the end questions of your foundation paper. Okay, some people actually get mistaken by, oh, it's only 50 marks, 50 marks. I can easily get that, but no, it is difficult. If you're not covered far higher in year 9 and 10, then you'd find it difficult just to cover it in year 11. Okay, so 136. Oh, Kaijo, Matin, yes, around about 140. All right. Are you an examiner? No, I'm not an examiner. To be honest, I don't have time. A lot of my colleagues are doing exam marking, so they always talk about it, how it is as well. So I've got a good idea about examination marking as well. But I use my time doing sports, gardening, and YouTubing, by the way, yeah. So I don't have much time to do marking papers over the summer. Plus, I have two little ones. They need my time. My Casio FX83 GT Plus has the fact button for the table. Now, with the fact button, Elite Danger, what you need to do is you need to enter the number first, press equal, and then press shift, and then the fact button. And that will work. Sometimes what people do is, that's why I repeated a few times. So quickly show you here, it's similar to this calculator, slightly different. So say, for example, write 150 as a product of its prime factors. Enter 150, press the equal button, then press shift, and then press the fact button. And that will give you 2 times 3 times 5 squared. Connor, don't be scared. You'll be fine. Why did you start this stream? Because I went to a notification come up on my YouTube channel account saying that this tutor from somewhere abroad, I think, they gone live. A lot of people are there, around about 100, 150 people. They weren't starting. I don't know why. They're taking their time. So what I did was, okay, how about if I do one? Maybe I can help people as well. So that's the reason I started it. I did a few live sessions last year. Due to some software problems, I stopped doing it. I didn't do it this year. This is my first live session since I did it last year. Did I hear about a paper one getting leaked? To be honest, no, I've not heard about any paper getting leaked. And a lot of this now in this day and age, fake news is very popular. Someone will make up a fake news and just say paper is getting leaked or something ridiculous, and people just talk about it, and that becomes real news then. So the fake news becomes the actual news. So please do not look out for these fake news. Spend your time doing some revision. Best advice would be get some sleep, wake up early morning, and go through the topics. If you're not sure about your formulas, go through them pretty quickly and have a look at some maybe quick questions. If you made any notes, look through those notes and pick topics that you're not quite sure about. Quickly go through them. And just stay calm, relaxed. Don't go into an exam thinking, "Oh, I can't," panicking, because that could have a negative effect in your actual exam. You want to calm your nerves and just relax, and then go into the exam. I know some people find it really difficult. Any prediction for tomorrow exam? Unfortunately, I do not make predictions because there are around about 40 people watching, and but I can say, like I said, I made a list of topics on one of my videos. Have a look through those unseen topics. That doesn't mean topics that already come up. Say, for example, trig question came up in paper one, and no, sorry, on Pythagoras question came up in paper one, and a trig question came up in paper two, I think. Yeah. Now that doesn't mean they might not give you a problem-solving question based on trig and Pythagoras. Now we don't know how the question is going to look like, but what we can say is it might involve those two skills in the same question or separately. So what you have to do, as long as you know the basic skills, how to solve trig and Pythagoras, as long as you know how to do those, read the question carefully, what it's asking for, and then answer those questions. Now, you might be that you might not be able to answer the full question, you might answer part of the question. So what would happen is you might get part of the marks. So don't leave it out. My advice is do not leave any questions out. Just because it looks scary, this doesn't mean you can't do part of it. You can do part of it, trust me. Because you sometime in your lifetime you have come across those topics. So do whatever you can, but don't leave it out. All right, Saban, good to see you there. Some of the students are here. I'm hoping that is helping. Okay. I know I can just not helpful at all. I know some people will find it helpful, some people know. Now, it's very difficult to actually target for everyone's needs. Even in a classroom, teachers cannot always cater for everyone's needs because every individual are different. I'm different, you're different. And then, so it's very difficult to, so as long as some of the question may be helpful, then that's fine. Here to help. Okay, that's it maybe. Hopefully I answered some of your questions. I know some of the questions I did not answer very clearly, like for example, do you have prediction? Sorry, unfortunately I cannot predict what questions are going to come up in your exam. But all I can say, the unseen topics, that the list I made, go through those and there's a good chance, and any teacher will tell you that as well, that those topics possibly could come up because, for example, if there was a expanding bracket question on paper one, for example, or paper two, they don't want you to repeat those questions. What they could do is to put in a problem solving question, then that could come up. Oh yeah, by the way, I have a Instagram account, which is Mr. Mahmud Maths, Mr. underscore, I'll just type in here. And I don't just cover maths there, I cover various things. I just do pretty much my life there. Well, just search on Instagram, and that's my account, Mr. underscore Mats underscore Mats. Waleed, I did go through a simultaneous equation. There's a video on simultaneous equation on my revision. I think I covered the simultaneous equation. Please have a look on there, please. Sorry, no, I don't do physics. I did do A level physics, and I did mechanics maths in A level, so I've got a good idea about physics, but I don't teach it. There's a good YouTube channel, Gorilla Physics. Sir does cover some really good stuff on there, so you can follow him. If you ever subscribe to him, comment to him, just say Mr. Mahmud Maths recommended him, gave him a shout out. What is that picture? Please tell. That picture is just a grade boundary from last year and a calculator. Talk me through simultaneous equation. So simultaneous equation, you could have possibly two different equations. So I'll put the answer of the one I actually went through if I can find it, because I've got so many questions on there. Was it before that? We did go through a lot, didn't we? Don't realize. Mainly AO1, AO2 questions, because you don't want to make mistakes on AO2 questions. AO3 is hit and miss. There's your simultaneous equation. If you do computer science, physics is a good option to pick, but I would say talk to the university. What do they think it is, or your career advisor? They will be able to advise you slightly better. But if you enjoy physics, then go for it, because I enjoyed physics and also enjoyed mechanics maths, so it's a good one. Yes, for medicine, most likely you will need maths. Yes. So maths and English, or if you mean A-level maths, I think you do as well. So might need science subjects and maths. Luke, either way is fine, but look at the question. If it says write it as a power product of prime factors, then you need to write down 5 times 4 times 3 squared. But if it says write it as a product of prime factors, then just write down 5 times 4 times 3 times 3. So look at the question. Either way is fine. Kamal, no, sorry, it is for Edexcel Foundation, not for AQA, sorry. There are some AQA videos on YouTube available. I only cover Edexcel. I teach Edexcel, so it's easy for me to cover Edexcel. I have a good idea about Edexcel. I know there's about 29 people here, and I'm hoping that you have subscribed and hit the like button. And one more minute, and I'm going to call it a day, call it a night actually, at 10:30. Density, mass, volume. I'm going to quickly go through the formula. So I'll quickly go through the formula. I'll write it here. So density, mass, volume, use the triangle. So you got mass always at the top. All you have to remember, mass is always at the top, and then density and volume underneath. So density is equal to mass divided by volume. So M is at the top and V at the bottom. And then mass is equal to density times volume, because they're on the same level. And then a volume is equal to mass at the top and density at the bottom. Same with compound measure. I know we had a compound, speed, distance, time. I know we had a speed, distance, time question in your paper one. So speed, so we have speed, distance, and time. So speed is equal to distance divided by time. Distance is equal to speed times time, and time is equal to distance divided by speed. You can also have pressure formula will be given in your exam. Bearing question, always start from the north line. Let's see if I can find something here. Bearing. Taj Mohammed, I've watched the predicted paper that I made on the last video that I made in my video. I've gone through what's it called? Scale factor, similar shapes question. I started at the back of the paper, so some people will find it easier. If you need any topic questions, there's Maths Genie. They have also solutions. Now with bearing, work out the bearing of B from A. Now because it says B from A, look at this part here. I'm not sure if I can write here. Because it says from A, you start from A. Okay, so you need to work out what this bit is, bearing of B from A. So always start at the north line here. I'll see if I can download that and maybe write on it. Sorry guys, it's a PDF document, so it's not letting me write on it. So always start from the north line. You can see the N there, north line. Okay, this will work. So start from the north line, and what you need to do is you go clockwise. Okay, so you got a clock, so you go clockwise from the north line and measure this here. Now we know that this is a straight line, so this will be 180 degrees. And then we have the extra 40 degrees here. So the answer will be 180 plus 40, which is 220 degrees. So that's a very simple bearing question. So that was that. Let's do one more. A bit difficult one. Let's do this one. Measure the bearing of Q from P. Now, I don't have a protractor. I don't have a, can't use a protractor here, but all you have to do is measure the bearing of Q from P. So it says from P. So you're going to start from P, north line P. Don't start from Q. It says from P. So always look at where is it from. The start from P. So you measure this angle here. On this one, a rock R is on the bearing of 150 degrees from Q. On the map, R is 6 centimeters from Q. And then it's asking you to mark the position of R across and label it R. So it says R is on the bearing of 150 degrees from Q. So go to Q, from Q, measure 150 degrees using a protractor, mark it off and measure, draw the line and then mark off 6 centimeters on that line that you're going to measure. So it's 150 degrees, so that's 180. So it's going around about here, going about this way. And then using ruler, measure 6 centimeters on that line and put it across there and label it R. Do I start the paper from the back? No, actual exam, it's up to you. Now, I would prefer you to start maybe at the start because you want to gain those easy marks straight away. You don't want to wait around. What would happen is if you start from the back and you're finding the questions difficult, you're going to start panic and look at your time. The time's running out. So always answer the question you can do first. Doesn't matter if it's at the back or front. Do those questions first and then move on to the question that you're not quite sure about. This is for foundation, and some questions are for higher as well. Because it's grade 4 and 5, it will help to find higher people as well. All right, guys, that's it for today, and all the best. I know I said bye a few times because of people asking me questions. I feel like I need to help everyone, but unfortunately, you guys need to sleep, and I need to wake up early as well. So I'm gonna say all the best, and inshallah you do well. Good luck. Saurav, hello. Yes, quick question, then I'll go. No worries, Hanan. Thank you for joining us. No problem. Happy to help. So, just to answer Saurav's question, I'll go to grade boundary. This is last year grade one, by the way. So just to give you an idea. So you're doing higher because you're talking about grade 6. So you need about. I'll say you're around about grade 3 plus now. So you need another that much difference. So look at the grade boundary here, and that much mark you will need extra to get a 6. But don't panic about that now. Whatever's happened, because sometimes people come out of the exam thinking it didn't go very well, and what they do is they end up getting more marks. Yeah, so don't worry about that now. Just focus on the question tomorrow. Now, what happens? A lot of people, what they do is they come out and straight away they look for answers for the paper they've done. Now, I think that's very demotivating because sometimes you do the working right, you might have got the answer wrong, and then people think, "Oh, I didn't do very well on that." I don't do the answers for the paper that they've done because it's very demotivating for students, and they get disheartened and they think about it and they panic. We don't want that to happen to you guys. Just focus on the paper, what's ahead. Don't look back because you can only just look back and just carry on looking back, and you'll miss out the marks on the paper that you're going to do next. Okay, best of luck, guys. Thank you very much, and Mr. Mahmud helping you do better in maths. Bye, guys. Oh yeah, don't forget to subscribe and help me grow this channel. I know I'm doing this, but if you help me grow this channel, what would happen is the next generation, the year 9s and 10s, they can get some help as well. Okay, help me to help them. Thank you very much. Bye bye, guys.